would be done.
That would really suck. That's the closest I've ever been to starting the podcast without hitting record and then suffering the consequences later.
I genuinely think I would be done.
So many of our favorites to watch. Oh, look, now they're being bashed. I guess that's what we should expect on the Bullied Nostalgia Podcast.
What's up, everybody? I'm very excited that you're listening to our podcast and that we get to spend some quality time together today. I'm Tim, and you're tuned in to the Bullied Nostalgia Podcast, where my brother John...
Ducks fly together.
And I...
Quack, quack, quack. Okay.
I was going to try and start a chant later in this episode, but you may have just ruined that. I'm not sure. Where my brother John and I revisit movies and TV shows we grew up with alongside my kids, Chance.
Me.
And Kai.
Hi.
Who use it as an opportunity to tear apart our childhoods. If you enjoy our podcast, we would totally appreciate your telling your friends about us. If you're an avid listener, consider checking out our merch on redbubble.com under Bullied Pod. Either way, we love hearing from listeners, so send your comments, thoughts, or ideas to bulliedpod@gmail.com. Before we get into the episode, just a reminder, last time I told everyone about the survey we have live.
Last time? Buggy O'Hare Toad?
I don't know what you're talking about. As a reminder, there is a poll open for an upcoming episode this season. Please click the link in the description to vote. We're trying to choose between Lego Clutch Powers, Mom and Dad Save the World, and Speed Racer. With that...
Tim,
yeah?
just a question. Are you trying to hide Easter eggs in the things that you say?
What would give you that impression?
I also heard toad instead of told.
And then you ignored it when I brought it up. You pretended like you didn't.
If I was doing that, and that was the only one you heard, there are a lot more than the previous sentences I just gave.
Dad, I think we're going to have to eventually replace you with our most controversial guest host.
If Complex was writing my dialogue, he would probably sneak toad puns into everything I say. All right, with all of that out of the way, the quack attack is back, Jack.
Oh. I think your permissions need to be revoked.
That's right. Enough with the croak and dagger. Today's episode...
Broken dagger, I heard it.
Bad.
I see your sneaky lies.
Today's episode is Mighty Ducks 2. Chance, can you give us a summary of the movie to our audience?
Yeah, this movie is the sequel to the beloved Mighty Ducks. Coach Bombay returns, comes back to coach the Ducks, but in a surprise twist of events, Bombay is chosen to lead Team USA. Is it high-grade Pee-wee hockey? Is that the idea? I didn't really understand that.
Yeah.
part.
Do you maybe want to tell us a little bit what Mighty Ducks are?
Because you're just going to say
I mean, we're talking about the sequel to a movie. I'm assuming there's some knowledge about the prior movie from the audience. But
We only do sequels here.
We only do sequels. You need a little bit of context for what the thing is. You haven't mentioned them playing hockey once.
I literally said it's Pee-wee hockey. Yes, the Mighty Ducks are a team of Pee-wee hockey players out from Minnesota, all spearheaded by their super strong coach, Coach Bombay. And he, in the first movie, brings the team to a miracle victory against the region's reigning champs. In this movie, all the Ducks get upgraded to the international team, and they bring upon some new members. And then they actually facing their biggest rivals, the Iceland team, who are mean because they're from Iceland.
Mm-hmm. You got a lot of stereotyping in this one.
That's great, Chance. As Chance said, D2 is the sequel to The Mighty Ducks, which is a movie that came out in 1992. That movie cost Disney $10 million to make and made $50 million in theaters, so a great return. What, you want more money? It also made $50 million on VHS. So, huge win. Disney was so happy with their investments, they did the next most common and obvious thing to do. They bought a hockey team. So in 1993, they bought the Anaheim Mighty Ducks. And then this movie came out a year after that in 1994. Once again, a $10 million budget. It made $45 million in the box office. So once again, big money, slightly less returns than the first one, but these movies were considered a huge win for Disney. Chance, I kind of inferred in the last episode that I made you watch these when you were a bit younger and you really liked them. How do you feel as an adult?
I mean, I only watched the second one. I didn't watch the first one. But a bit of a spoiler, I'm probably going to be giving this movie a pretty positive rating.
Okay.
You?
I'm quite tired.
Deeply surprised Kai didn't like this movie.
I think he had decided he wasn't going to like it before we watched it, though.
This movie is Space Jam. We'll come back.
Well, this was also before Space Jam? What year was Space Jam, John? 94. I still think this is...
96.
Yes. So this is before Space Jam.
I think maybe what Kai might be speaking to, in the early 90s, there was kind of a boom of this movie genre called sports comedy drama, where it's usually taking some kind of underdog...
Well, the underdog story.
Sports team.
I don't feel like this movie has anything over any other movie of the time.
But, and this is a big but, before this movie, name a sports movie for kids, this comeback story thing.
I don't know any sports movie for kids. I'm
No.
not a sports person.
Kai's saying that this doesn't have anything over all these other movies, but I don't know if Kai has seen any of those other movies.
Chance, I've seen Air Bud.
Oh my god.
Conversation closed.
The delayed...
Somehow we haven't done Air Buddies in this podcast.
Yeah, which is insane. I've
but
watched all of
Kylan,
those.
Air Bud is 1997. So
I
this
honestly
is
don't
kind
know
of-
if I've seen Air Bud.
Yeah, the
That's-
buddies are considerably
Yeah.
later. So what I was going to say is you made the comment, there's so many movies like this. Yes, this movie inspired all of those. There is one movie before this. It's called Bad News Bears. Bad News Bears was a long time ago, and it was a baseball underdog movie for kids. They took the inspiration for that. There weren't sports movies for kids at the time. Disney saw a potential market, and they gambled big, and they won big.
But not specifically for kids, but just movies where it's the underdogs who are going to lose and then they rise up and they win. That has also been done.
There were some
Yeah, by
movies...
Star Wars.
I
mean,
think you're talking about
most
sports
movies are
movies,
underdog
right?
stories.
That's what I meant.
That's what makes them good movies.
Yeah, so Kai was referring specifically to sports movies, but yes, Star Wars also did that. There were movies like Rocky, which did that before this. However, what made Rocky interesting is Rocky didn't win all the time. He actually lost just as many as he won.
About the entire point of Rocky is that he trained hard to get where he got. And in Mighty Ducks 2, they don't know how to stop.
Okay, but hold on. In Rocky, all he needs is a montage and he gets better. And that's what happens in this movie, too.
No, in this movie, he still doesn't know how to stop in the final game.
So what Kai is referring to is the character of Luis. He was played by Mike Vitar, who had become uber famous the year before this movie. Can anybody tell me what movie he was in the year before this?
Sandlot.
Sandlot.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, Sandlot is a movie about kids who play baseball behind their house, and they're scared of a monster that lives in one of the neighbors' yards. It's a really mean dog. And they accidentally hit their Babe Ruth signed baseball into the yard, and they have to try and figure out how to get it back.
I do have some repressed nostalgia for that dog.
That dog was scary. I don't think as an adult it was scary, but yes, as a kid.
But from that time, movies like Angels in the Outfield, The Big Green, these are other movies that Tim and I owned that have a very similar kind of feel to them. So it is something that pervaded a lot of other sports films later on.
Sorry, this is off topic. Chance, can you look up the movie Everyone's Hero?
The animated movie about the baseball kid?
Yeah, why?
I do remember
Because we
that
owned
movie
it when we
also.
were younger.
Nothing
Talking
about it.
baseball and
It
a talking bat.
Yeah,
Looking
and they're
at
going to
that
find
is
Babe Ruth or
Ruth's bat,
whatever.
and the
Yeah.
kid has to bring the bat
Did
to
you
Babe
look
Ruth so
that
he can
up,
win.
Chance, or you just remembered at the drop of a hat?
I remember this at the drop of the hat. The movie ends with the kid. Babe Ruth gets hurt or something, and he has to swing. And so he gets a bad home run, but he jumps off the nose of the main bad guy and wins.
Stop. No, stop. This is so off topic, but why do you know this? Are you like a
I've
sleeper
seen a
agent?
lot of movies, Kylan.
Yeah, but everyone's hero is what you got. I said, hey, can you look up everyone's hero? And you were like, oh yeah, it's the movie with the talking baseball bat. Okay.
Yeah.
About this movie, Kai?
What about everyone's hero? No, I just heard the name Babe Ruth, and I suddenly got images of everyone's hero in my brain.
Nobody else chime in here. Kai, who is Babe Ruth?
He is a baseball player.
He is a baseball player. Can you tell me anything more about him?
He would hit the ball really hard, and you would get home run.
He would get home run. All right,
I'm getting
Chance
it wrong.
or John.
I do feel like that there was something about his home runs that were special or whatever, but I don't remember what it
Can
was.
either of you tell us anything about Babe Ruth?
This is such a tangent.
It's not even a baseball movie.
Yeah.
There was a movie about how he had a bat that could talk.
Yeah.
I had to bring it to him.
Okay, so what Babe Ruth made famous?
So
Yes.
Yeah. He would
Yes.
point at where he was
Going to get a home run.
Yeah.
Exactly. He was going
Ball
to point
shot.
about where he was going to send the ball. But how we got on this
The kid
side
from Sandlot.
tangent, this kid plays a hockey player who's one of the fastest skaters in the league who does not know how to stop, which
Why did they put him on this team?
I explained to Kai that's probably the biggest suspension of disbelief of the whole movie, because stopping is like the first thing you learn how to do in skating. But it's neither here nor there. I do want to take some time to just talk about some of the cast. You know, we've got characters like Connie, who was played by Marguerite Moreau. We talked about her before. She was in, oh my goodness, our season starter last year, Free Willy 2. But she has been in so many great comedies over the years. She was in the Wet Hot American Summer movies and TV shows. The character who plays Fulton, who's one of the big bullies, was played by Eldon Henson. It's so weird, John. What do you recognize him from?
Well, I know him as Hunger Games, Daredevil TV show.
Yeah, the Daredevil TV show is what I was going to say. And it's so funny because in these movies, he's portrayed as this giant amongst the kids. But as adults, he's just a normal-sized human, like maybe below normal. I don't even know. We also have Charlie, who's played by Joshua Jackson. Joshua Jackson would hit mega fame after these movies by starring in Dawson's Creek TV show. Russ, this is Kenan Thompson's first appearance in movies and TV. He is now in his 100th season of SNL. He's done tons of things over the years, but more than anyone, the actor who embodies these movies is Emilio Estevez. Emilio Estevez plays Coach Bombay, and he was already a celebrity before these movies came out. His brother, Charlie Sheen, was a famous actor as well. Their dad, Martin Sheen, was also a famous actor. Emilio Estevez actually changed his name so that he wasn't associated with the family. He wanted to make his own way.
I think Martin Sheen. They originally have some Hispanic heritage.
Yes, you are correct.
I think Martin Sheen chose his last name as a stage name.
And
Emilio wanted to go back to his actual last name.
Yes, Estevez is their actual last name. I don't know about the choice of Emilio. I guess there's some alliteration there. Regardless, he goes on to do this movie, and it would be his persona for the rest of time. Whether he wanted it or not, I'm going to play you guys a very famous clip.
Standing there waiting to use the payphone, and this guy who's on the phone turns around and tips his hat like this. And who do you think that guy was? Emilio Estevez. Why you duck, man? I swear to God, I was like, Emilio!
Very famously, there's a movie called Night at the Roxbury with Chris Kattan and Will Ferrell, and their most famous pickup line to girls is to talk about the time that they saw Emilio Estevez, the Mighty Duck Man. And so he is still famous for other things, but nothing comes close to how these movies have defined his career. John, when's the last time you watched this movie?
I don't think I've watched it since VHS. Probably the early 2000s.
So this is like a fresh experience for you.
Yeah, but remember how we talked about with Spaceballs, there was a lot of beat for beat remembering things? I was surprised at how much of this movie was in my memory. And it's interesting that we had these sports movies, but our family wasn't particularly athletic. Mom and Dad would put us in the local sports team for a couple of years, but never anything intensive. And so we would have never really played much hockey at all, but we were really into this hockey movie. And our parents didn't really watch much sports.
I mean, that leads us into the fact that Kai definitely had some questions about what is allowed in hockey.
I don't think assault is allowed in hockey.
I tried to explain, and this is where he got this analogy from, that they were playing Space Jam rules. That said, well, a cowboy roping a member of the rival team is obviously against the rules.
Yeah, using a lasso.
There are a few other times when they broke the rules in that game in ways that you might not have noticed. For instance, spoilers for people who haven't watched this movie yet, the big final game ends in a tie and they go into a final shootout. Each team gets 5 one-on-one shots on the goalie, and then whoever had the most goals wins. In the last shot, Bombay swaps out the goalie. You are not allowed to do that in regular hockey. Also, they're gunning for Russ and his knuckle puck during the whole game. And they disguise him as a goalie instead. In an effort to get off his shot, he takes off his helmet. Also, immediate.
Is it also against the rules to disguise somebody as a goalie, or?
Not so much. I think you could get away with that. We're talking about Kenan Thompson's character right now. He plays as this street kid who joins the team late in the movie, and he has what's called a knuckle puck.
Which is his signature shot.
It's his signature shot. He places the puck on its side so that when he hits it, it spins, and it's very hard for a goalie to stop that. Would you be surprised to hear that that is a real thing that does drive goalies nuts? It's very hard for them to stop a shot like that, but it requires setup that most players don't often have.
Was it invented by the Mighty Ducks?
It was.
No.
I cannot tell you how much cultural impact these movies have made.
That's wild. So real NHL players were watching this and they were like, oh man, I should do that.
Soon to be NHL players, right? Keep in mind that this movie is over 20 years old. So kids watching
this movie
inspired them. Exactly. And they've actually tried it. It does perform very well if you have the chance to set it up. I'm going to try and help you guys wrap your head around the cultural impact that has been Mighty Ducks. Mighty Ducks has been an extremely successful brand for Disney, and Disney has obviously been very happy with their success.
Happy? I can't believe you. I thought that was a mistake until you smiled.
I know, I tried not to. For so many of these, I've bit my cheeks so I don't smile when I say it, but what you gonna do? 3 movies, a 30-year hockey team franchise with as much jerseys and merchandising as you can imagine, 2 seasons of a sequel TV show in the 2020s, and it also had a cartoon spin-off on Disney Afternoon, along with shows like Darkwing Duck, Gargoyles, Goof Troop. If you were writing a spin-off cartoon, which characters would you focus on?
Obviously, the guy who can't stop, the goalie that doesn't have any flaws, and, I don't know, the Icelander.
It's a trick question. It's a trick question.
None of them is the answer?
Okay, I'm going to throw a link in the Discord to an ad for the show.
It's just all Looney Tunes characters.
And I'm going to let you guys tell me what your thoughts are.
For our listeners, they are actual ducks.
Oh, so it is all Looney Tunes characters.
It's ducks from another world or galaxy who get brought to our world.
Wow.
To play on a sports team, but on their home world.
That looks like a really unenjoyable TV show.
It looks about
They're mighty ducks, quote unquote.
I think they live on an ice planet where there's these dragons that they fight.
What is the point? Why would you do this? You know how we got popular for putting real kids in this really cool sports situation? What if we didn't do that? What if instead there were ducks from space?
Yeah, but
who is this for? Not fans of the Mighty Ducks.
I feel like biker mice from Mars.
I'm sure that they didn't intend to make this show as radically different, but they had to sell merchandising. They had to make it approachable. Sometimes you just have to toe the line. And
I can't believe you.
Did you say toad the line?
Yes.
He did.
He's trying really hard to throw these sentences all over the... He's got a list. He just marked one off.
Yeah, keep an eye on that checklist, guy.
Where he keeps his notes, he also has a list of bullet-pointed lines, and he just marked one off.
Some of them I wrote into sentences, other ones...
He's saying that Conquest... He's saying that Conquest...
From Bucky O'Hare Chance.
I just watched the season 4 in review episode in which Dad felt really bad about how he totally ruined our listeners. Oh my god.
It's getting to
I'm
you,
just saying,
kids.
he did a shtick like this in the past and then instantly regretted it.
He's being more subtle about it, I'll give him that. I wonder how many have gone under our radar.
I wonder.
I expected that to be a toad pun too, I'll have you know.
Yes, I only knew about the Mighty Ducks animated cartoon because we owned these Disney trivia games and I always wanted to be the best at them. And anyways, I was pretty good at most things, but when questions came up about the Mighty Ducks animated show, I had to memorize those.
They fight ice dragons.
Never seen the show.
It's so important that you win at this pointless trivia game. That you're there studying and memorizing the cards before other people can play.
You have no idea what it's like to be a youngest sibling. It is a battle.
Thank you, Kylan.
You are constantly vying to be better at literally anything.
Well, okay. I don't know if I sign up for that, but probably.
I will say this movie brought joy into my life. So I think it made my life better in a number of ways. But even if I didn't have those things, this movie taught me the lyrics to We Are the Champions.
Really?
Yes.
Not the very slow song that's exceedingly famous?
You've got to understand the cultural climate that John and I came from. My
Yes.
parents were not rockers.
Chance, where would they have heard this song before? They're
On
Mickey
the
Mouse
radio.
DVDs? They're Mickey Mouse
We listened
DVDs?
to CBC radio.
Yeah, Chance,
That was it.
all that their radio ever plays is just random people talking. They don't listen to music on the radio.
When I was in junior high, my best friend Eric, his parents had a much more diverse and rich music library that they shared with me. And I got to learn about a lot of types of music later than most, I guess. But Mighty Ducks, at the end credits, they all sing, I've paid my dues, time after time. I've done my sentence, but committed no crime.
I'm waiting for the toad pun.
And bad mistakes.
I'm waiting for the toad pun. You are slick.
I've had my share of sand kicked in my face, but I've come through.
Where's the toad pun?
There isn't one. I tricked you into listening to me sing.
This is the part where we reveal that it's copyrighted and that whole section.
Speaking of the music, I actually found the music to be really well done in this movie. And for someone who knows next to nothing about hockey, as a kid, it helped me know when good things were happening and bad things were happening. The music would clearly get like triumphant when the good guys were winning, and when the bad guys had the puck and they were doing well, it would get sinister. It helped the non-hockeyites kind of know what was going on.
I do think it's funny. Team USA struggles to beat Iceland, but every other team they get put up against are countries that don't even have ice. Like, not a fair fight.
Apparently they do beat Canada, though.
Off screen.
That's off screen.
Russia beat Iceland off screen, but we never see Russia either.
Yes. The first team they go up against, and the team that's often on the movie cover, is Trinidad and Tobago, which is not typically...
A classic hockey.
What's the population like there?
Like how many people live there?
Yeah, I mean, like what percentage of them are hockey players?
How many people play hockey in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah.
Well, let's ask Complex.
No? Are you searching this on AI?
There's approximately 1.4 million inhabitants. It says ice hockey participation. Essentially 0 registered players on ice, as there are no ice rinks.
Oh, there's
Although
0 ice
fictional-
rinks.
After Mighty Ducks 2 came out, everyone in Trinidad started feeling really bad. It's like, oh, I guess we'll never win any hockey. And they kind of just gave up.
It says that
Okay.
it was a fictional team.
There are a few ice rinks. This is your issue. You're asking AI.
Who are you asking?
The maps. I'm checking maps, and there are... Yeah, 1, 2...
What map do you have that shows all the ice rinks?
That's
in
roller
Trinidad?
skating.
I don't think those are ice rinks, guy.
Yeah, no.
They're roller
Ice skating
rinks.
facility and snow playground. There is the Barataria skating rink and the Trin City JD skating rink and the Battle Arena. I'm not sure about the Battle Arena. This one doesn't seem...
That's a roller derby.
There are 2 or 3 ice rinks in their country, is what you're saying?
Yeah. But there are definitely... I won't count this one. It's like 4 square feet.
You proved me wrong.
Okay, also the Barataria skating rink is rollerblades. Okay, that one's also rollerblades. Wait.
Is it possible we found that there are no skaters?
The one skating rink is 4 square feet. But they do have roller skating.
I was going to say, Tim, did this movie play into your interest in rollerblading at all? Because when they're off the ice, the characters in this movie like to rollerblade.
No, I'm for sure that's definitely why he did.
We haven't talked about this on the podcast at all, but I used to do a lot of rollerblading. That used to be a passion of mine. I don't know exactly where that love would have come from, John. The opening scene where they're rollerblading through a mall is pretty amazing. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but I feel like there were a lot of cultural impacts that would have had a say.
By the way, though, these kids are vagrants. They are just here to cause chaos.
I agree.
They're the
Fired from his
90s
job, I
ideal of
think.
what
Chance, one of them just ditches their job.
But this is also prime time Ferris Bueller era. Being a bit of a rabble-rouser is cool.
The scene that they're referring to, we've got the getting the gang back together trope in movies. So Charlie goes out and he's rollerblading and he finds the rest of the team and they all rollerblade through the city with him, picking up more and more members of the group. They are a menace to society, but it is a pretty cool scene. To be a kid in the 90s seeing that, those kids were super cool. Like Chance said, you wanted to be like them.
Speaking a little bit about them being a menace, they're pitted up against this Iceland team. Essentially, Iceland is seen as breaking a lot of rules and being really mean. But I also feel like the Mighty Ducks play quite mean. In their final game against Iceland, they beat up some of the Iceland players, they play dirty, and there's this triumphant music. And you're like, oh yeah, give it to them, Mighty Ducks. And then Coach Bombay brings them in and says, hey, listen, we can't play dirty like this. It didn't feel like they learned a lesson. It felt like that was an obligatory thing for him to say. But all the triumphant music told me totally otherwise, that we were supposed to be celebrating when they were playing dirty. I felt inconsistent.
You wanted to really feel like they were being bad.
Well, I think them being bad was celebrated. Nothing changed after
You
that
can be
speech. So that-
bad as long as you're also
Well,
good.
they didn't rope anybody else, so...
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
When the wind blows hard and the sky is dark, ducks fly together. When the roosters are crowing and the cows are spinning circles in the pasture, ducks fly together.
Together.
And when everyone says it can't be done, ducks fly together.
Fly together. And can you do the duck sound?
You want me to play that again?
No, he doesn't want you to play it off your phone.
I want you to use your bird call skills.
Was it a Pokemon?
It's not getting better.
Talking about Team Iceland, the idea was to originally do like a Team Russia. However, I guess US and Russia relations were improving. And so they went with Iceland as the enemy team instead.
They wanted somebody that people hated. They wanted an evil. We can't do Russia because they're seen too well by people politically.
I will say that people did not and still do not know very much about Iceland in North America. So this movie's perception of Iceland being these villains is everything that a lot of millennials know.
So you guys are very anti-Iceland.
Yeah, let's just
like
say
naturally.
On a global economic scale, or if the US had been talking about invading Iceland for the past 2 years instead of Greenland, I think there'd be enough millennial backings just because there's so much pent-up aggression from Mighty Ducks 2 that people would sign off on it.
So I've never been to Iceland, but my wife has. And my understanding is that Iceland is just a small little island of lovely people.
Yeah, this is a pretty far cry.
I think that they are kind of slandering every country because Trinidad does not have ice rinks, apparently.
Well, it's funny because in all of the teams that Team USA goes up against in this movie, not a single of them ever had someone good enough to make it in the NHL.
They only won because they fought the bad teams.
That's correct.
Oh, it's because everybody in the other teams got moved up to the NHL, so there wasn't anybody to fight.
These are teenage kids.
Yeah.
Well, kind of teenage. Mighty Ducks kids are probably 13 to 18 years old. The Iceland players are all in their
Adults?
20s.
Well, sometimes when the camera cuts away and cuts back, none of them are children.
Yes.
So
There are so many adult body doubles in this movie.
it's real bad.
It's comical.
The kid with the lasso was like, hey, look at this. Puts down the mask, cuts. It's an adult now.
Yeah, his entire physique changes. Goldberg falls and rolls down a hill into a picnic that people are having, and it's clearly an adult man rolling until it cuts to his face. Honestly, I think they thought that if they kept perspective the same, everybody gets sized up for adult shots and everybody gets sized down for kid shots. But I will also say, as a kid, I was fooled. I was like, oh my goodness. That cowboy is the best puck handler in the world. He's so good. How did a teenager get to be that good? Well, it's clearly an adult when the helmet is on.
So they need to be underdogs, right? So every character is mandated to have an extreme flaw of some kind. One of the people is an ice skater who does not know how to play hockey. Like, who is picking these people? These people are a few steps away from being big leagues.
Well, if you're playing against other teams that don't have ice, then you're fine.
That's true, I guess.
You have the original Ducks from the first movie, and then they add these 5 new Ducks who each have their own superpowers. Skates too fast, the one that's a figure skater and is fancy, the one that can handle the puck, the cowboy, big bully, and then a female goalie who never gets to play once until the very last goal.
And has no flaws, and they just don't use her because they don't use her.
But what was really cool is that that was the new flavor that got added to the team, because I think before that, a lot of the Mighty Ducks were just hockey players. You could tell when these supposed kids were skating, because you could see them using their superpower. And so it was another real cool thing in the final game. Each of those kids goes to do their superpower, and Iceland stops them. So it's like, whoa, they're in trouble. Their superpowers aren't working. But most of the goals that were scored in the final game were from those new characters.
These kids get added, you're right, with all these superpowers to make them more interesting. Russ and his knuckle puck is a really fun thing. I liked the Bash Brothers. I actually liked the Wang or whatever, the figure skater. But what it did cause is I can tell you no names of the original kids now, because they're just average kids.
You don't think that you knew Charlie or Adam?
I couldn't tell you their names by the end of the movie, no. I liked the kid with glasses, but I couldn't tell you his name, and that just felt really telling, I think.
The kid who's Lester, who's the curly red hair with glasses, he could have totally played Arnold from Magic School Bus.
That is true. He nails Arnold from the Magic School Bus.
I did find the original Mighty Ducks goalie, Goldberg. He was quite charming.
It's true, Goldberg is pretty memorable.
Their story for Coach Bombay, I thought was pretty well done. Essentially, the arc for him in the movie is that he's feeling the pressure from their sponsors to make the kids perform, and so he loses sight of what the game's all about, and he's too hard on the kids. They just did a really good arc with him, seeing hockey from his childhood and missing out on the NHL. I thought that was well done.
I think also hockey, although is a sport, it is also performative media. I have no interest in wrestling, but I do every once in a while watch videos on it. And it's fascinating to hear just how much you can be good at wrestling, but if you're not interesting as a person, you just won't get over with the crowd. Hockey, although not to the same extreme, it is in that way that here in Alberta, McDavid is a god among men.
And what you're saying is very apparent in the movie because when the spectators are on their side, the Ducks play much better. So they switch jerseys. It's all about team morale. As soon as they feel discouraged, they start to lose. But as soon as they feel empowered, they all of a sudden get new jerseys and have superpowers.
I think that is actually a thing in sports. I heard a statistic recently, but it was like 50% of timeouts are called not because the coach wants to talk with the team, but because they need to stop the game so the other team gets out of the zone. And when they got the new jerseys on and We Will Rock You started playing, as somebody watching the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, things are turning around. I felt the hype for a moment.
And as probably the most knowledgeable sports mind on this podcast, which isn't saying much, there's something called the home court advantage. And what that means is not that you know the ice better. It's that you have your fans in the stands cheering for you. So there is statistics that show when you're playing at home, when you have the crowd on your side, you will play better.
This is off topic. It's going back a conversation. The coach of the Iceland team, they have their own miniature playoff.
Coach Wolf?
Yeah, Coach Wolf the dentist. He just commits physical assault and, breaks this guy's leg. It's not like he missed. He took the stick and just went down on his leg very intentionally.
Prove it.
No refs.
This is lawyer zone, right? Not only is this against the rules, this is illegal.
So for people who haven't watched the first movie, aka Kai, Emilio Estevez's character in the first movie is that he was a lawyer who gets caught drinking and driving, and as his public service hours, he has to coach a kid's hockey team.
So he clearly knows that he could have won that.
Or he knows what I just said. He can't prove it.
Do ice rinks not have security cameras? I genuinely feel like there are 100 ways. Anyways, all I'm saying is...
I'm really fed up about this.
It just makes me so upset to see blatant, not even cheating. This show is such a stickler.
Yeah, just because the rules say a dog can play basketball does not mean a dog should play basketball.
The show is such a stickler for rules 10% of the time. Another 20% of the time, it's disobeying all rules. The rest of the movie is, who cares? Which one is it?
We really need to reevaluate our episodes later this season and see if we can get Air Buddies in.
Buddies is not a sports thing. Bud is.
Air Buddies originally was a sports thing, and then it became about Halloween and space travel
I've never seen Air Buddies,
and
so
saving
whose nostalgia
Christmas.
is that for? You want to watch Air Buddies in the haunted house? Go for it. You want to watch Air Buddies get superpowers?
Air Buddies
Absolutely.
become ghosts
You
and
want to
die.
watch Air Buddies Indiana Jones? I'm all for it. But sports? Ew. Why would I watch sports when I could watch alien superheroes and Indiana Jones?
It is fascinating to me that Paw Patrol is as big as it is when it really is just standing on the shoulders of Air Buddies.
Well, Air Buddies had less visual differences, and I think that's the big difference. All of the Air Buddies look exactly the same.
No, Santa Buddies were a completely different dog.
Okay, well, we don't talk about Santa Paws, okay?
We've lost the thread.
Okay. Before we go to closing, is there anything that people wanted to talk about this movie that we didn't?
Go through all of your toad puns.
I was deeply surprised. Bombay goes on a date with the Iceland chick, the personal trainer for the team. They see him with her, and then they call him out on it. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be like an interesting thing where Bombay's going to feel pulled between this girl that he likes and the team. Nope. He drops her so fast.
Yeah. She seems like she's going to be a love interest. The other kids see him and her out on a date, and they're like, oh, I see what's happening. And then they call him out on it, and instead of building or leaning into this romantic chemistry, she comes across nice initially. Then she's just all of a sudden a supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess maybe another criticism is that watching it as an adult, it made me a little bit more uncomfortable. The hockey team goes into this high-end fashion store, and they lie and say they're looking for a swimsuit for their mom.
Why do we always watch movies that have uncomfortable scenes like that? Every time.
All the movies in the 90s did.
What are we doing? It's 5 minutes of children oogling at adult women.
And the adult women wink at them.
Yeah.
So.
Well, they were trying to see if their mom needed an eye patch as well. I'm shopping for my mom's eye patch.
Wayne Gretzky comes and makes a 10-second appearance in this movie to hang out with the Mighty Ducks.
Yes, they tried to get him for the first movie, but they couldn't. Must have had something to do with making $100 million off the first movie that they were able to leverage the fame of these movies a little bit better.
Well, and famous enough that they named the second movie D2, which I think is supposed to mean Ducks 2. The first one wasn't called D1. How were people supposed to know what D2 was?
What a terrible name. Too Fast, Too Furious. Too Mighty, Two Ducks.
Too Mighty, Two Ducks.
Mighty Ducks 3, Tokyo Drift.
Duck 4.
No, it's Mighty 4.
Right, Mighty 4. Is it Duck 5 then?
Would that be like Mate of the Furious?
Wow.
Okay, let's take her over to close. I think I'm going to go in order of nostalgia for this one. So,
Wait.
Kai, you get to go first.
Isn't it F9?
Yeah.
So it is D2 F9. What's Fast and Furious 10 called?
Fast X. Mighty X.
Is the next movie called Mighty I?
No, I think it's D3.
Lame. I'm supposed to give my review at the...
Yeah, what's your
movie now?
cookie?
I didn't have a cookie plan for this one. It's 50-50, okay? You get it some days, others you don't. I noticed a thing with Citizen Kane. Citizen Kane is a movie that is held in the highest regards of all time because it is what made modern filmmaking. Nobody is allowed to discredit the name of Citizen Kane, even though it is a pretty garbage movie. It has the worst pacing I've ever seen. I had to watch it. It was real bad.
I just know where I was expecting this discussion to go.
Let him cook, Chance. Let him cook.
I feel like I need to take a step back and recognize that Kylan is dissing Citizen Kane on the internet.
Yeah, I don't care. You can come at me. You can come at me at bulliedpod@gmail.com. My name is Timothy Nesbitt.
I'm 6'2.5", 178 pounds. I have a beard.
Yeah, anyways, there is something to be said for movies that were something at the time, but are now nothing. I would say this movie is cliche, and then my father would say, well, where do you think those cliches came from? And I say, I still don't want to watch a cliche movie. There's a lot that needs to be changed about this movie.
What are the cliches that makes this movie bad?
I don't know. I don't feel like I've watched a lot of underdog movies. Sorry, underdog sports movies, Chance. Not Star Wars. But every single cliche in this movie, I feel like I've seen 100 times. It's coming down to the very wire, and the team is doing so terribly, and the other team is just destroying them. But then when they do their magic speech and rile everybody up, and then they go back out there and they destroy.
Ducks, quack. Quack,
and then
quack,
it gets down
quack, 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 quack.
And then the game is literally as close as it possibly can be, and at the very last moment, they pull through and win! Also, the coach has the whole, what's more important to me, fame or the people? I'm sure they were fine, and they were maybe unique at the time. But now, there are 100,000 movies that have all of these things.
I don't know, Kai. I don't agree with the idea that just because something has been used a lot makes it inherently bad or lesser. I recently read a whole bunch of Blue Lock. Blue Lock is a manga about soccer. I don't really read sports manga, but in that same way, that whole series is like, oh, it's the last 10 minutes of the game. We've got to pull something together. And like, yeah, I can see it coming. But that doesn't make it not good.
And I think what Chance was saying earlier, too, was Star Wars. No one wants to watch a movie where someone dominates, the other person totally loses, and there's no suspense or tension. Some of these tropes are necessary in sports movies. If it's not a close game, then who wants to watch?
Those cliches, yeah, they're done, they're tried, but everyone knows the same way to make a paper airplane, because that's a killer way to make a paper airplane. But sports movies are something similar.
Yeah, I will add to that, as an example to what John said, a couple years ago, Christopher Nolan came out with Tenet, which is a time travel movie. I've spoken about it several times in this podcast. It's part of my identity. I love time travel movies. This is kind of a spoiler, but the way the movie is presented makes it not a spoiler. Essentially, the movie happens partially in reverse. And so there's no tension.
Because you know what will happen.
You know what will happen. I appreciate that Christopher Nolan took a chance and tried telling a story in a different way. But also, when I finished the movie, I was like, oh, this is why you don't tell movies like that. There's no climax or interesting points at the end of the movie. You've already seen all the cool stuff. Now let's just coast to the end.
That's something to be said that this movie even does something more akin to what you're talking about, Kai. For most of this movie, they steamroll all the other teams until they get out of sync, and then they lose their mojo and they go down. The final bit of the movie is we need to find back our mojo, and that's when they become the underdogs. For most of the movies, they're the favored team to win.
I just don't have anything about this movie that I think is better than other movies.
Okay.
It's full of cliches, and that's fine, but it also doesn't do anything with those cliches where I'm like, whoa, that was a really good experience. I'm just like, that was a movie.
There are things about this movie that I appreciate. It's a surprise to me as an adult that Kenan Thompson had such a stage presence at such a young age. But Kai has definitely allowed his opinion. Chance, you may be surprised that critics typically agree with Kai's take on this movie. Not that it being a dime a dozen like everything else, but that it wasn't a very good movie at the time. And
it wasn't at the time?
Critics at the time did not like it. Audiences loved it. There's a huge discrepancy between audience score and critic score. Critics score, these movies are all rotten. All of them.
Like around 20% rotten.
Yeah, they're all very
low.
low by critics. But I guess the takeaway is that these movies weren't for those people.
Yeah.
They were for a young audience who are seeing the coolness of hockey often for the first time.
Yeah, maybe that's just because I have zero cares about sports.
Yep, that's fair. So no cookie.
No cookie.
Before I pass it off to Chance, you kind of had decided that
Stop
you
smiling.
didn't want to watch this movie before we even turned it on. What is the last movie or TV show that we did in this podcast that you can think of that you enjoyed?
I think I've honestly been conditioned to feel this way. Probably Lunatics.
Okay.
Because obviously I grew up with that. But I don't think Lunatics is good. That was fully nostalgia. I just genuinely have very specific tastes. It's crazy saying this, but I don't really like watching TV most of the time.
I think the closest thing to something you might have not known about and enjoyed was probably being able to place James Bond 007 to the video game you were playing.
That was actually cool. I really enjoyed that because it wasn't just watching a movie. It was an experience. I agree with that. Chance and John, you think your guys' lives are bad when we have to watch Sesame Street or Descendants. I'm like that with every movie.
You merely adopted the Grouchland. I was born
in it.
All right, Chance, you're next up.
I don't think this movie is the greatest movie of all time. That being said, I still like this movie. I think it has a lot of good qualities. In the same way that Miracle on 34th Street was kind of like a picture of an era, but in its most positive light, this movie does something similar. So I think this movie deserves a 3. It is a good movie. I recommend people watch it.
Cool. I will tag in next, I guess. This movie does hit for my nostalgia, but also I had the opportunity to share this with Chance when he was younger, and I was surprised when he enjoyed it. So it kind of doubled up that this just sits really nicely in good feelings. I don't think that the movie is amazing, but it just makes me happy, and I just really like it, and that's all I got to say about that.
Saying earlier, there was a lot of scenes in this movie that stirred up feelings for me, like rollerblading through the mall, when you meet all the new players and their superpower, their team building montage where they're all trying to move together while lassoed, the knuckle puck, bad guy taking the air out of the beach ball. Like, those were all moments that were ingrained in me.
What a jerk, eh? Just popping a beach ball for no reason.
He doesn't even punch it. He just squishes it slowly.
He punches it. Got sharp fists.
Yeah, I think my nostalgia is too strong to think critically about this movie. It is a collection of many tropes that we're familiar with nowadays, but I think it gets put together well. And this is the thing that's been the closest to getting me to like hockey. So kudos to D2.
And just like that, we have another unforgettable episode.
Unfrogettable?
Oh, there it is.
You're trying to be so slick about it, but you cannot say unfrogettable properly. Like, how do you do
It's a
that?
hard one to force.
Yeah, you're playing with fire now, Tim.
A quick reminder to everyone out there that our poll is open for an episode later this season. Please vote in the comments or the description of this. There should be a link. As much as it pains me to say, our next episode, we're going to be back to the well we've been trying to avoid, and that is Land Before Time 6, The Secret of Saurus Rock.
How did John get to future Tim so well?
Well, I have no idea what John has planned. It's bound to devolve into total chaos.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
This is a great segue, actually, though. To our listeners, please write in and tell us the movies you want us to tackle. If you think that we want to be doing a Land Before Time sequel every year, we do not. I'd much rather be tackling the Brave Little Toadster or the new Kids on the Block cartoon. As a reminder, please email us at bulliedpod@gmail.com with your suggestions.
So when did Complex get to you?
Yeah, I still don't understand the bit.
Chance, we watched Bucky O'Hare.
Well, he's aware of Complex. He's just
I
confused
know
as to
that.
why
I just
Dad
don't
took it.
understand why Dad did the episode after Bucky O'Hare goes, now's my time to do fraud time.
What do you...
Well, watch out for weirdos.
Watch out.
No, look out for weirdos. We're not changing. It's too late.
Watch out for weird toads.
I need to break it to you, Dad, but I want to give you more bit, sir. Would we get any callbacks from this movie?
Quack?
Quack, quack,
Quack?
quack, 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 quack. The quack attack is back, Jack.
Don't forget to breathe in and out. I'm trying to think of a toad-related callbacks, and I can't.
You're trying to come up with a toad pun?
Yeah.
Praise Beethoven.
Yeah.
Praise Beethoven.
Praise Beethoven is terrible.
Wow. We've really ruined our reputation.
We really duped low this episode.
Yeah. Wild, considering the fact that I didn't think that we had much ground to begin with.
Goodbye.